Thank you for joining me. So if you are watching this from YouTube, my name is Missy Schaefer and I am with LuLaRoeMissyAnneVIP. This is actually a team training for my team, Team Bless. And this is just a quick, I just filled out my application and now I'm in the queue and now what do I do? So I thought I have a team training guide that will be posted in our group page in the albums under training, so you can find everything that I go over tonight in the album. There's a link in there for you to go through and read it. But I thought I would just go through it quickly to kind of explain in depth a little bit more on the upcoming weeks before you get your call. So first I just wanted to start out with a little bit about myself and my why. So my why is my family, obviously. I have a husband and 2 children, a 5-year-old and a 2-year-old, Dante and Juliana. And before I had my kids, I worked, from the time I was 11. I always had a job. I always worked really hard. I pretty much threw everything into work. And then I got married. I had my son on our 1-year anniversary. And I decided that I was going to leave my career at the time, which was in management at Verizon Wireless. I worked there for about 6 years, to stay home with him for at least the first few years. That was my plan. And then right around 18 months, he was 18 months, we noticed that he started needing some therapy, some speech therapy, so we did that. And, long story short, by the time, right before his 3rd birthday, he got diagnosed with autism, and it kind of like put a halt on, really going back to work for me. And just decided to stay home with him between driving him to his therapies and really trying to figure out what we could do for him to make sure that he could have the most successful future was really all that we cared about that time. But as the years went on, it made it difficult for me to not go to work, like I was so used to working. Hi, Jen. And I was so used to working, and then all of a sudden I wasn't doing that anymore. So I had my daughter right before my son turned 3, and I just started feeling like, I didn't really have like a purpose. I would get up and obviously be their mom, and I was a wife, but it was hard for me to not have a job. So when LuLaRoe first came around, I originally started because I just wanted to make a little extra income for our family so that we could give them, the childhood that you want all of your kids to have. Hi, Katie. And I looked at it as like a business decision at the time. So I did a lot of research on that. I signed up just thinking, I'll just make $1,000 extra a month would even be great, just because I wasn't working anymore. Yes, this video will stay up. I'm going to actually make a YouTube link to this video, and it will be in the album for all of the YouTube videos. It'll just be added to that. So if you can't watch, don't worry about it. It'll just be added to the album, so you can watch it at a later time. Hi, Amanda. So so that made it hard. I just figured, let's just do this for a little extra income. Great, why not? And then when I started, it took off pretty quickly. I kind of threw everything I had into it because I missed it. I missed working. I missed getting up and going, having a job. Even though I loved staying home with the kids, I just missed that. So I really focused on the business part of it, building my group and selling. Like that was kind of, where my focus was in the beginning. And I never thought I would have a team. Like I was like, oh, I'll just do this like part-time on the side, right? But it started, like it kicked off. And then as the months went on, I started getting really personal with my group. And they started to really learn about me and about my family, and it just evolved. It just evolved into where like I got up and I looked forward to working every day, and I didn't really see it as a job. I wanted to go live just so I could hang out with, my group, and everyone was so supportive and everybody was so nice that it's awesome. And it's really an awesome community that you guys are joining, and I'm so excited for you because I really didn't think, and I know that I heard other people talk about it, but I really didn't think it was going to be like that. I'm like, no, this is just going to be something I'm going to do like, a couple hours a week, not a big deal. And now I love it, and I just want to do it all the time, and I like really don't ever sleep because I'm always doing something LuLaRoe. But that's me. It's obviously not required. You guys don't have to do that. But so what I'm about to go over is in the albums of our team group, there's another album called Training. There's a link in there. And our main team, so our direct team right now is called Team Bless. And our upline team, so like, you know, then I have a team above me that I'm under. It's called Lula Rock Stars. But then our big team, because sometimes it's nice to know these things, is called Team Unicorn Wranglers. And there's 10,000 of us on that big team. It's awesome. So once you get your call and you have your inventory, I'll be adding you guys to that actual group once you're a retailer. And seriously, there's so much information in there. If you ever have a question about anything, not that you can't come to me, but if for some reason you just want to quickly like type it out in the group, that group's awesome. And they respond pretty quickly to any questions that you guys have. So we're Team Unicorn Wranglers is like our upline. Okay, so that's like our team. So in this link, this training link, it's basically like once you submit your application, what the heck do I do for the next 6 to 8 weeks? Because it takes 6 to 8 weeks before you're gonna get your call. I think you guys knew that, but if you didn't, you've got some time. Okay. So the first thing is, you might have noticed I posted last week, I think in our team page, there's Q Club calls. They are every Monday at 4 p.m. Eastern. They're not required to be on them. But there is some good information on there if you just happen to be home, or you know, you're sitting where you have time just to hop on one. Feel free to hop on. They go over like what part of the queue they're calling, so you kind of get an idea of when it's coming. It's really cool. You just get a lot of good information in there. So I'll keep posting those in our group page for the link. You just click on it and you can watch it that way. Try to get on those if you can. So that's like the first part in the document. It'll talk about the Q club calls and what it entails and all that. The next thing that is pretty important before you really start creating any groups or anything like that is our Team Unicorn Wranglers is really huge on like Facebook etiquette. So they pretty much want you to stay positive, and if you do have any concerns, that's totally fine, but try to come to me first before you're posting anything on Facebook or anything that's negative. If you're just having a bad day or something, it happens to all of us, and there's been times where I've vented to the team, and you know, like Amanda can vouch for this, and we vented to each other, and it's totally fine, but try to keep it between us, and then if I don't have an answer or solution for you, I will try to find it in our upline, okay, before you post it on Facebook or anything like that. As far as being in other consultants or retailers groups, that's fine. Some retailers will actually put that they don't want consultants in their group. As far as mine, obviously you're all welcome. That's totally fine. Don't worry about that. If you are becoming a retailer, obviously, and you're in other groups, just try to be like a silent observer. You know, like don't participate in giveaways and stuff like that unless for some reason they post like this is open to retailers, but I don't think I've ever seen that. I leave mine open to retailers personally because retailers shop just as much as regular customers do. But if you're in somebody else's group that's not mine, just try to be quiet unless you're just shopping as a regular customer, but don't participate in like free stuff. Try to leave that for the customers if you can, unless they're cool with it. Don't message their customers telling them like, hey, I'm about to sign up, come hop over to my group. Or if they post like an in search of or something like that, and when you have your inventory and you have it, don't message them saying, hey, I saw you were looking for this, I have it. You know, just try to be like a ghost in other people's groups. As far as mine, if somebody posts something that they're in search of and you have it and I don't, just private message me, and then I will reach out to the customer and I will send them to you. So that's totally fine. But don't post on other retailers' pages. And if they ask you to leave their group, which this has never ever happened to me ever, but if they do, just quietly leave. Like, okay, you know, like no sweat off my back. There's a million other retailers out there that will take my business. I've never had it happen, but you never know. If they do, just be like, all right, cool, you know, no hard feelings, and just bow out gracefully. So that's pretty much the etiquette part. You know, don't get wrapped up in drama, like buy, sell, trade sites. Like, don't even waste your time with those. I mean, they're horrible. I used to try to be in them to try to screen them, like if I had customers that were buying to sell. I used to try to see if my customers were flipping, and if they were, I would go back and I would remove them from the group. Don't even waste your time. Like, it's not worth it. It's just so much more of a headache for you to worry about it. There are flippers. It's gonna stink, but there's nothing you can really do about it. So I would just say, if you are in any buy-sell trade sites right now, we are not allowed to post in them. We are not allowed to advertise in them. We are not allowed to sell. We are not allowed to be in them at all. So just remove yourself. LuLaRoe's compliance team is huge right now, and they're screening like eBay, they're screening Etsy, they're screening these buy-sell trade sites. So if you are in them, just leave them. Don't waste your time with them. And I think that's pretty much it as far as the etiquette part. So now we'll go back to we'll just start week 1. In this document that I'm going over, there's a lot of links in there. So there's an Inspire video, which was from leadership. There's a link in there if you want to watch that. Go ahead and watch that. Get to know the owners of the company. That that might be kind of important, like Mark and Deanne. Their story is in here. There's links in here that you can watch and learn about them, how LuLaRoe started. That's awesome to know, because it also will open up your eyes that this wasn't like, this wasn't some greedy couple or anything trying to start the business. It really started from Deanne hand sewing maxis out of her house and selling them one at a time by herself, like as a single mom pregnant with 4 kids. So if you can go in and kind of learn about her story, it's good, because then you can kind of share a little bit with your group if you have anybody that's kind of like concerned on the negative publicity of LuLaRoe. Let's try to stick to the positive on where this company started, because it really did start from the ground up. It's amazing if you can really watch her story. That would be like a whole nother video if I even went into that. And then the document will also go through, there's a product video. It's amazing. I highly recommend watching it. It gives me chills when I watch it. It talks about where there's thousands of employees all over the world, and these employees are paid fair. There's just all this great information in there, and how LuLaRoe changes lives internationally. It's awesome. So that's kind of all this stuff in there about week 1, is they're trying to say, learn a little bit about the company the first week that you're kind of in the queue, and just when you have some downtime, just kind of Google it, read her story, learn about where the products come from and stuff like that. Also, you will probably want to figure out what your why is. You'll probably hear that a lot, what's your why with LuLaRoe? I started this video, I explained my why. So if you missed it, that's fine. You can always just go back and rewatch it if you care. Most of you will probably know my why, because I've said it a bunch of times. But we highly encourage you to share your why with your group at least once a month. Because you'll get new members hopping in, and you want to set yourself apart from other retailers. So figure out what your why is. Why are you doing this? And it's fine if it's something simple. It doesn't have to be a sad sob story or anything like that. Just figure out what your why is, and make sure that you're comfortable sharing it with your group at some point. So we're not into creating your group yet, okay? Come up, figure out what your goals are, make sure they're realistic. I talked about this in another YouTube video earlier, I think this month, or it was the end of April maybe, about have realistic goals, goals that are attainable, where you sign up and say, this is what my goal is, the first month, 6 months, a year, and make sure it's something that you feel you can truly hit, so that you don't get upset if you don't hit it. Like I said, my goal in the beginning was $1,000 a month. I really wasn't, I didn't even know what cruise qualification was or anything like that. I was forget it. I just want to make $1,000 a month, and that would be as if I was working part-time, and it would help with the family. So come up, figure out what your goals are. If you want to write all this stuff down, there's spots in this document that I'm going over if you wanted to be old school and print it out. If you're gold, if you guys know what your color lens is. I think I posted that in our team page too, earlier or later last week maybe, what your color lens is and stuff. Now gold people, I'm gold. I'm 98% gold, where everything has to be organized and structured and written out. So I would be somebody who would print this out and write down. You don't have to do it. It's really not necessary. I didn't do this in the beginning. I didn't even have this document when I started. So it's not gonna make or break your business. But if you are bored and you're not sure what to do in the meantime, feel free to print it out, write some stuff down, write your goals down. If you want to share them with me or in this group, if you want, feel free to post in this team page whenever you want, because we're a team. This is it. we're now a family, guys. So feel free to share your deep, dark thoughts with us, because I would love to hear. I don't want to be the only one posting in this page. Like, you guys don't want to hear from me all the time and only me. Like, that gets boring. So week 2, we're back now. We are here to get to know your LuLaRoe team. So what that is to, like, I talked about Mark and Deanne. Once you start getting on these calls, you'll start to learn about, like, who each person is, like our design team and our marketing team and stuff like that. But also our main team, which I did explain. Our high up is Team Unicorn Wranglers, and then our team's called Team Bless. Like, those are pretty much the two that people would probably ask you, like, if you went to any type of event, like, oh, what team are you on? Team Unicorn Wranglers. Like, almost everybody knows who they are because there's so many members in there. So it has, like, the little tree in this document that I'm going over. Like, has Deanne, who's under Deanne, and then down to where Team Unicorn Wranglers is, which is Phil and Danielle Russell. They're the couple that is Team Unicorn Wranglers. Does your sponsor have their own team? Which I am your sponsor. Yes, we have our own team. Like, our team name is Team Bless. It goes through some training, when the training calls are, and all that stuff. You feel free to browse through that whenever you want. Week 3, they talk about styling and owning your job title. So figuring out, like, different sizing and patterns, like, kind of educating yourself on LuLaRoe and the clothes, how different ways to style it, so that when you do get your inventory and you do start going live, you can share that with your customers. Let's see. We are now called fashion retailers. You'll hear me say consultants every once in a while because that's what we used to be called, but we're not called consultants anymore. We're called retailers because we now have the ability to take credit card payments, like, through a swiper ourselves. So that's why they had to switch it from a consultant to a retailer. So we're actually merchant retailers now, and that's why I don't know if you guys have filled out your application yet for your merchant app. You don't have to do that yet. That's not until, like, week 5, I think, which is in this thing. But what that is when you fill it out so that you can actually take credit card payments with your customers. They'll send you, like, a swiper, and then you'll download a special app that you'll use when you take payments with customers. So we are actually merchants. So that's why we're called retailers now. Week 4, I would be happy showing you guys the difference between Build and Bless. So Build is where you order all of your inventory. Bless is our point of sale system. Okay, so what I did when I started is I, like, went on YouTube and I just watched trainings on it. But the links that I think I have in there are from the old Bless system, and there's a new system now. But this has the new system in it. So this document has links in here. This is what you're going to want to go off of, is the new system. If you're local to me, as soon as I learn the new system, because I'm not going to lie, I haven't switched yet, but we have to switch it as of June 1st, so I'm going to be switching next week. I can train you guys. I can train you on it. I don't think it's that difficult from what I've watched, though. It's pretty self-explanatory. You can just use an app on your phone. Like, it seems really easy. We don't need a business license for our location. That's one of the things that it asks in here. You're fine. Another thing it suggests is opening up a business checking account. I haven't done that. Maybe shame on me, but which I probably should do, not gonna lie. But it might make it easier, like if you're transferring your money from your LuLaRoe debit card that you will get when you become a merchant. All of your sales will go on this debit card, and you can either just keep the money on that card and you can literally use it at the store, you can order inventory with it, or you can transfer it to your bank account. So if you want to transfer it to, like, a separate bank account so you can keep track of it, you can do that. It's fine. I don't. That's just me. I got lazy with it, and it just goes into our regular joint bank account. But that's up to you. That's in here. Like, these are all, like, just suggestions, okay? Make sure you have a plan for how you'll pay for your initial inventory. I've talked to most of you about that. You've either applied for a credit card or a personal loan. However you want to do that. Your initial inventory can be on credit. Once you place your initial inventory order, though, every order going forward cannot be on a credit card. LuLaRoe does not take credit card payments after you onboard. They have their reasons for it. I would say reason number one, there's a fee. There's a 3% fee. They don't charge us tax. They don't charge us shipping. And they give us a 5% discount on wholesale orders when we order. So now adding another 3% fee on top of that, that's a lot of money that they were paying for. So not going to lie, not going to sugarcoat it. I know that was probably a huge reason why they decided to stop taking credit card payments, because that adds up quickly. And they were already giving us free shipping. I mean, I'll get, like, if I don't expedite my shipping, their warehouse is in California. I live on the East Coast in New York. If I don't expedite it, I will still get it in 5 days. And it still would cost them. I mean, my boxes, like, are just, if you're getting 3-4 boxes at a time, that's crazy. They give you that for free. So that's one reason. The other reason is you will obviously have seen a lot of retailers were going out of business. And a lot of reasons they were going out of business is because they just kept racking up debt. Like, just kept incurring debt on top of debt on top of debt, to the point where they couldn't run their business anymore. Obviously, there were other reasons they were going out of the business, whether it was personal, whatever. But a lot of them just were in so much debt they couldn't get out of it. So one of the reasons, too, why they're doing it this way is this is how they look at it. You place your initial inventory order on a credit card, however you want to do it, personal loan, whatever. That should be your debt, and then supplies. That should be your only debt that you ever have with the company. So whether it's your $5,000 order, and then say, like I did a LuLaRoe and all this other stuff, you tack that on there, that's your debt. So now going forward, whenever you sell, it goes onto a LuLaRoe debit card, and you should just use that card to place orders, so that you're just recycling the money. You're never charging it more. So what was happening is people were just charging on top of charging on top of charging. They would sell, then they would take it out and try to pay themselves. And when I mean pay themselves, I mean whether it's pay off debt, pay off credit cards, or buy stuff, whatever. But then they would go to place an order, and because they already took that money and put it towards, a bill or something else, they didn't have the money to place an order, so then they charged it. And it just was like a vicious cycle, to the point where people got in so much debt that it was awful. Like, they couldn't get out of it and they had to quit. So they feel that if they do it this way, where you can't charge it, you're not going to order you're not going to over order, So yes, right now there's a 33-piece minimum order every month. What that equates to is roughly $500 a month. If you just place a minimum order of, like, leggings or Irmas, or leggings are a little bit more, but like Irmas or classics or tops or something like that, about $500 a month. So hypothetically, if you can at least sell $500 a month in sales, you can place your minimum order without incurring more debt. Okay, and you can do that every month, and you can keep building your inventory. Obviously, the goal is to sell more than $500 a month, so that you can place those orders and you can keep building your inventory, so you can keep making money. Because obviously, the more inventory you order, the more you're going to sell, the more money you're going to make. That's just logic, just how it works. So I know that at first it was like, whoa, everybody freaked out. I even freaked out a little bit, even though I didn't have any debt. I still was like, what the heck? I was just comfortable with putting it on a card and paying my card off at the end of the month, and I didn't like that it was coming out of my bank account. But I understand it now, and it hasn't affected me at this point. So as long as you do it that way, you guys will be fine. There's blessed tutorial videos in here, which I said these are the up-to-date ones, so don't watch anything from the old system. Watch what's in this document. Week 5, it's going to tell you to order supplies. So in here, it's going to have, there's videos again in here for, like, growing your inventory, other stuff if you just want to watch it when you have downtime. But this is going to talk about, your business cards. Now there's a link in here as well for your ordering your business cards and other materials. There's literally a link. You can just go to the link and you can order your stuff that way. If you want to do it differently and you want to order through, like, a template through Etsy or something, that's what I did. You can do that too. Obviously, it's going to cost a little bit more because you're going to buy the file, but it's whatever you want to do. It's really not a big deal. If you do order through Etsy, just make sure that it says in the description that it's LuLaRoe approved, because a lot of the sellers on Etsy weren't approving their graphics with LuLaRoe, which is obviously illegal. So just make sure it's approved if you are going to order anything through Etsy. If you're unsure, because the seller could be lying, just stick to the link, and then you don't have to worry about it. Okay? Clothing racks, there's all links in here for that. We all use a specific clothing rack that's very durable. The link to that is in here. It's called Deco. I also have a separate YouTube video that I did way back, my very first one, that's called Startup Costs. That's in the albums that says YouTube videos. You can watch that. It has all the links of everything I personally purchased myself. but there's links in here as well. So the clothing racks are in there if you want to do it that way. If you want to build your clothing racks, there's a guide in here. I built my shelving downstairs, which you may have seen in some of my other videos, or if you've been to my boutique, you've seen my shelves. All of the supplies that I purchased through Home Depot, my links are in my video, which again is in the other albums under YouTube links. You can find that in there. For shipping, I use Shipping Easy, which is in here as well. It seems to be the best as far as rates. So you can look into that. Again, feel free to like message me privately if you want to go into depth about any of that stuff, like shipping and cost and all that. But there's links to all the stuff in this document. This document has like literally everything you would need. A postage scale, because if you're shipping first class, if it's under 8 ounces, then you can ship first class for like $2.77 in just a regular like poly mailer. If it's over 8 ounces, it's going to cost a little bit more, but you have to weigh everything first class. Every pair of leggings will always be 8 ounces, but anything more you're going to have to weigh. So you're going to want a postage scale so you can weigh everything. Otherwise, your customer is going to get an item, and if you didn't pay for enough postage, they're going to have to pay for it, and they're not going to be happy. So postage scale, they're so cheap too. I got mine on Amazon. There's a link in here as well. You can also use a kitchen scale. It's the same thing. Label printer, you don't need it. I didn't get a label printer until I think I was maybe 2 months in, and before I got my label printer. Otherwise, I used my computer. I just literally ordered the regular like labels that you peel off of a 8x11 piece of paper, and I slapped it on that way. But once I got really busy where I was printing like 50 labels at once, I didn't want to have to cut them out, and it was just really annoying. And the ink actually cost way more that I looked into a label printer. If you want to look into that, the link's in here. As well, but it's expensive. So what I did is I didn't buy it until I could use my sales to pay for it, so that I wasn't in any more debt. Mailers are on here. They have an Amazon link. I get my mailers from You Pack and Ship. They're the ones that have the designer mailers, which you'll see with they're like pink with a little woman shopping on them, or they have flowers, or they have themed ones like for Valentine's Day, 4th of July, Christmas. It's literally the letter U, pack, P-A-K, N, the letter N, ship. Again, those links for me are in my video, which is in the other album, if you want, or just message me. I can just send you the links too. As far as anything that you're mailing that's priority, that's not first class, all of that supplies is free, you guys, free through the Postal Service website. So you literally go to USPS Supplies, and you can order your padded envelopes. So for all of you who shopped LuLaRoe before you decided to sign up, you got the white padded envelopes that were priority. Those are all free. So another thing what some retailers do is they only ship priority, but it is going to cost the customer more money because it costs us $6.30 to ship priority. So if you're only doing that, then it does cost them more money, but then all of your supplies is free, so that's totally up to you. You can do it however you want. Most consultants will have a first class price and then a priority price. So that's up to you. But it's all free. Padded envelopes, there's something called a regional rate A box, which I didn't discover for like 4 months in, and let me tell you, sometimes it's like 20 cents more than a padded envelope, and it's a box. So if I have somebody order something that's more than 3 or 4 items and I can't put it in the padded envelope, I'll use the regional rate A box. It's probably like this big, and I can fit like 3 individual bags of stuff in there, shove it in there, and it's like $6.77. Like, it's awesome. So look, it's obviously regionally based. So if I'm shipping within New York State and stuff like that, it's cheap. If I'm using a regional rate box to ship to like California, it's obviously not going to be as cheap. But look, make sure, and again, they're all free, so you can order those on the USPS website. And those are definitely cheaper than a medium flat rate box. I've never used a medium flat rate box ever. That costs $12. I've never had to use one. So I either use the regional rate box, and if for some reason I have a big order, I just use a regular priority box, not a flat rate, and I weigh it, and I've never had it be more than $12. Like, the most it ever was $10. So there is medium flat rate pricing and links in here. I just personally never use a medium flat rate box. So again, totally up to you how you want to do that. So that's all listed in there. So now it says week 6, which I personally did not wait till week 6 to create my Facebook group. I did it about 3 weeks before I got my call. So I would say once you're into week 3, if you want to create your group, they tell you not to, but I did, and it didn't affect me. Like, I didn't have anyone leave because it was too early, because I kept posting in there, and they were engaged and they were supportive. But that's up to you. If you want to wait till week 6 to create your group, you can. If you want to do it earlier, you can do it too. There's no rules. The only rules that there are is what you call your group name. This is important. So I know now you might see other people that have like LuLaRoe and they've got like these crazy names. That's not allowed anymore, okay? Those people that do have it, like me, LuLaRoeMissyAnneVIP is technically not allowed, but I'm grandfathered into it, so it's fine. I don't have to change it. But what it has to be now is a LuLaRoe and then your first and last name. It's just, that's the layout that it needs to be for your Facebook group page, okay? Same thing goes for your email. It's easy if you keep it the same. So LuLaRoe, either first and last name @Gmail, or LuLaRoe by first and last name. You can do it that way if you want. And same thing with your Facebook group. You can do LuLaRoe by, Missy Shafer, or LuLaRoeMissyAnneShafer is what it should be. That's all in here too. Like, all the guidelines are all written in here too, as far as your format. And then your page. So they tell you for your page, create your page, but only add, add our team. You can add me, add your significant other, maybe some immediate family members, but don't add everybody right away, because you want to get some albums and stuff posted in your group before you open it up. So you'll create your group. You can add us, like in your family. But then you're going to want to have your cover photo you can get from Build, which is, like I said, where we order our inventory from. You'll see on the side there's a spot that says Assets. And in Assets, they have Facebook cover photos. They have like pictures from photo shoots. They're all approved and they're all high definition for you to use on your page. Or you can create a custom one. You see, like mine right now just has like our next album sale. Like, I don't have a picture of LuLaRoe. Or have somebody take a nice high definition picture of yourself wearing LuLaRoe, and then you can put like your name on there and you could use that. Personally, people would probably rather see a Facebook cover photo of you in your group, so that they can start to really connect with you. But that's up to you. You can get the photos on our website, and then it tells you what your settings need to be exactly when you create your group. This literally breaks it down step by step. I wish I had this when I started. Your group needs to be a custom group, and it needs to be a closed group, okay? Which means people cannot see anything that you post unless they join or are added to your group. Can't be a public group, okay? It has to be closed. So what that is, and then your membership approval, you should have it set where any member can add members, but then an admin should need to approve people who request to join. So this is all broken down step by step on how to do it. Like, it's literally foolproof. You can create a Facebook business page. I don't have one. That's totally up to you. That's in here as well if you decide to do that. That's public, so that people can find you that way, and then you can link your Facebook group page, your private one, to your business page, so people can request to join that way. I probably should have one. I just haven't done it yet, and I don't know at this point if it would make a huge difference, but that's up to you. I am seeing retailers now just starting to make them. So I'm sure at some point I will go that route, because they can be public, which is cool, because then people can search for you that way. So in your Facebook page, after you do all those settings, like close, your permissions, where you have to approve posts, I would highly recommend you keep it where you have to approve all posts. Let's just keep it at that. Make it where you have to approve all posts. After that, create an album called About Me and LuLaRoe, and just like put a picture of you in there with like a description, maybe your why, so that people can kind of get to know you that way. In there, you can also have an album and they're like called Styling Guide, and you could just put pictures of people wearing LuLaRoe. This is all totally up to you, and it's all broken down again in this document. So this will pretty much keep you busy if you follow this. Create an album for all the styles that you're going to carry, which will be the onboarding package that I sent you. If you don't have it, I can also post it in the group page again. But whatever the current onboarding package is, you can create an album of those styles. There's a very good chance that the onboarding package may change before you guys get your call, because they change it every quarter. So I feel like it's, by the time you get your call in 6 to 8 weeks, they might change it again. But that's fine. Then you can just go through and update your album if they change the styles. Not a big deal. Mine did change right before I got my call, so it wasn't a big deal. Business page, we talked about that. Instagram, so you're going to want to set up an Instagram account for your LuLaRoe if you don't already have one. So keep the name the same, LuLaRoe by Missy Shafer, LuLaRoeMissyAnneShafer. I think mine's the same as my Facebook group. Mine's LuLaRoeMissyAnne. But try to keep it the same, and then I would suggest that your Instagram is different from what you post in your group. So don't do a lot of like selling on your Instagram, just more like you wearing LuLaRoe, you know, and trying to like get people to find you. Like you can hashtag in your Instagram, and then people will find you from the hashtags, and then they'll be like, oh, that outfit's super cute, and then they'll join your group. Ever since I started posting in my Instagram, I've been getting a lot of people to request to join my group. So I didn't do that. Like literally I went 9 months without an Instagram. So I highly recommend doing an Instagram. And then it says in here to download Periscope. I've never done Periscope. I'm not a huge Periscope fan. I've watched Periscope sales, and they just seem, not only do they seem really confusing to me because the comments disappear, but they're public, so you get a lot of creepers. A lot. And I've seen some very uncomfortable, inappropriate comments go through on Periscope, and I just don't even want to put myself in that situation. So I've never done Periscope. Again, if you're comfortable with that, because you can block them like live. If, like, I've seen literally a comment come up and someone go doot doot and they're gone. But I feel like if somebody commented something that was inappropriate, it would throw me off, and I probably would get upset, and I just don't even go there. That's up to you, Periscope. It's allowed, totally fine, but it's not required. So I think, sorry, you could probably hear the monitor. I think that's pretty much everything. Oh, the last thing is online sales. So selling. Most of you might know this, but in case you don't, LuLaRoe has a required price that you have to sell your clothing at. They call it MAP. And you can sell below it, but you can't advertise that you're selling below it. So, for example, an Irma that costs $35, you would have it on your page, Irma, your album, $35, and you'd have that in there. If for some reason you want to have a sale and you want to sell it for $30, you can't advertise that. You can't say, all Irmas are $30 today. You would have to say, private message me for special pricing. And then they would have to message you that way. Or you would have to find a way to communicate to them privately, whether it's through email, you email them, you text them, or you private message them. You just can't advertise it, and you can't market it that way on your page, okay? So everything has to be at MAP that's on your page and that you advertise to. Anything below that has to be done privately and has to be done in secret, which just keeps the brand from getting discounted. So that's why all those people going out of business and stuff is, like, technically they're supposed to just be selling it back to LuLaRoe, because obviously they're hurting other retailers, but they don't care, so they're doing it anyway. But when they're saying like everything 40% off, technically that's a breach of our contract, but LuLaRoe just doesn't have the time to find all those people and go through it all, so they ignore it, but it stinks. It really stinks. So you can't do that. So don't do that, because they will find you and they will send you an email, and it's terrifying. So don't do it. And I think that's it. And then literally it says week 7 until you onboard. Just keep learning. You know, they've got other links in here if you want to watch other videos. They do have the 4 lenses, which is the color thing I talked about. That's in here if you want to figure out what your color lens was. And then it ends where, okay, you got your call, and now what? Celebrate. shout it out, like post it all over the place. Oh my God, I got my call, go live. Like, make a big deal about it when you get your call. I mean, a huge, huge, huge deal. Because think about it this way. The retailers like me that have been around for a while, we don't have new inventory. Like, we have stuff, and LuLaRoe would never want to hear us say it, but that's old, like old prints. I literally have some prints from when I first onboarded back in September, and it's old. So now you get your call, and you've got 400 pieces that are literally brand new prints. That's awesome. People love that. Like, they're gonna be like, I want to get in that person's group because everything that they have is new. Where when I do a sale, I might have, you know, 100 pieces that are new that I just ordered, but then my other 900 pieces are not new. So that's awesome for you guys. Like, it's, so when people say like, oh, the market's oversaturated, no, because you're always getting new stuff. Don't worry about that. Don't worry about people going out of business. Don't waste your time with that. Just focus on you, focus on your business, and be excited. So share that. Let me know when you get your call. I should get an email, but send me like a text or a screenshot, or, you know, call me or FaceTime me, something. Let me know when you get it, because obviously I want to celebrate with you, and I also want to share it in my group that you're going to have a launch soon. So I would like to share your link in my group so that my members can join and get some new inventory. So let me know when you get your call. After you get your call, this is when you absolutely have to fill out that merchant app. The link is in this document, which is so you can take payments, so you can swipe credit cards and stuff like that. The application usually takes about like 2 to 5 business days to get approved. You'll get a welcome email. Once you're approved, they'll send you your debit card, they'll send you your credit card swiper that you'll use for in-homes, and then that's when I will add you to the Team Unicorn Wranglers retailer page. So once you're an actual retailer, you're going to be added to a separate group page, and that's where we're going to communicate all information that's proprietary for retailers. Okay, so I'll add you guys to that after, once you get your call. And I think that's it. You know, it talks about culture, which I don't have to really worry about telling you guys, you know. Sorry, Juliana's like screaming in her bed. Try not, you know, to be negative, try to stay positive. I will do everything I can to, you know, help you overcome any concerns that you guys have that come up. You know, things, I do understand things happen and the company changes, and it can be frustrating, because I've been there too, like, where I'm like, oh, what the heck? Like, I was used to this. I can't believe that they're changing this. But let's work through it together. And let me know if you have any questions, any concerns. So that's it. I'm going to create a YouTube link for this and post it so that if anybody wants to go back and watch it later, you guys can do that. But let me know if you have any additional questions, or you want any specific trainings on anything. Let me know, and maybe I can try and do a separate YouTube video where I train on some systems, if that would help you guys. Let me know. I'm here for you. So that's it. Have a great night, and I guess I'll see you guys soon.